Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Again, we thank Allah for blessing us to be here at the Jumu'ah on this day in 2023. I believe it's 1444 for the Muslims, coming from the lunar calendar after the Hijrah, as you know. So we thank Allah at any rate for us being here at the Jumu'ah. I would like to begin by reciting from the Surah 50. Qaf wal Qur'anil Majid bal ajibu an ja'ahum mundirun minhum فقال الكافرون هذا شيء عجيب. Allah swung by the glorious Quran. And then they put it in parentheses, Abdullah Israeli, that you are Allah's messenger. And Allah, He swears by many things in the Quran. He swears by the sun. He swears by the moon. He swears by the horses that run with the panting breath. So when Allah swears about a thing, He's the only one that has the right to swear by it, in the sense of being certain of what He is declaring, it is true. He swears by time, right? Wala asr. I swear by time, human beings, that you will be a loser if you don't have faith and practice righteous deeds and enjoin in the mutual teachings of truth, patience, and constancy, right? So He knows what time will bring. I don't know what time will bring. You don't know what time will bring. But Allah, He knows. So it's a very, very powerful tool that Allah uses in the Quran over and over and over again. And so how do you recognize it? If you are one who's interested in how to recognize it, then you could recognize it by, if you got the word wa on the front, and the noun that comes after it has what we call a kasra or e on it, that's the wow of swearing. And then sometimes it's in a plural, so it's hard for you to recognize it. Because Allah says in the Quran, وَالْعَادِيَاتِ دَبَّحًا, and I swear by the horses that run with the panting breath. So you wouldn't know it in that sense, but if you know that what we call the object of the preposition case, and you know how it ends, then you would be able to recognize that that's the wow of swearing that Allah is using. Praise be to Allah. But they wonder, translating it now, that there has come to them a warner from among themselves. Talking about the unbelievers. And so the unbelievers say, this is a strange thing. You mean to tell me a human being, he made contact with the Lord of all the worlds, and He's coming to us, giving us a message, and He's not one of the leaders of the town, and we don't know Him to be any person of great stature other than being a part of our tribe, you know. And surprisingly, Abdul Yusuf Ali says in the translation that the unbelievers say this is a wonderful thing. But this word ajib means strange sometimes too, see. And so it's not a wonderful thing to the unbelievers. It's a strange thing. What's happening here, you know? And they say, what? When we die and become dust, shall we live again? That is a sort of return far from our understanding. Like, as far as we know, you're dead, you're done, you know? That's the mind of a lot of people. When you die, that's it. In fact, that's what they used to teach us during the time of Elijah Muhammad. I didn't buy it. my nature told me, I believe it's a reward in a life to come if I do some good and make the grade, you know? But they have Bible language that says these kind of things, even though most Christians believe there's a life to come, right? I think it's in Ecclesiastes. Forgive me for talking Bible, but It's relative because we have a lot of relative and important. We have a lot of Christians amongst our family, you know. And it says in there, just like a cloud is consumed and fades away, so it is with the human beings. When they go to the grave, they are no more. So they would use that Bible verse to justify no life after death. So you make your heaven and hell right on earth, you know. So as people of faith, we know that there is a life to come. Praise be to Allah. And then this is a beautiful ayah that I just love to think about it and reflect upon it. Allah reveals in the next ayah, we already know how much of them the earth takes away. And with us is a record guarding the full account. So God is telling you and I that this earth is going to take a part of you away. But your record, when you go down to the ground and that body go down there, your record is still intact, you see. So you and I should acknowledge that, or believe that, when those bodies go into the ground, the argon gas, the phosphorus, and all of the different gases that's in us, and the bones and all of that is going to come into powder, and the gas is going to escape. And in time, perhaps that concrete will crack open, and the worms will get some of that body, you know. You know, this is the reality of physical matter. Physical matter has deterioration characteristics and properties about it, right? And Allah reveals this to us in the Quran. Kullu man alayha fan. All that is on her is in a state of fan. That's the English word fan, to fan something away, right? So perhaps they stole fan from Arabic and say that thing you plug into the wall is the fan, you know, fan things away, right? So Allah is saying everything on the universe, or in the universe, is in a state of perishing. And the word earth is not even mentioned in this ayah. People say, why you always bring up corrections? I feel it's my duty to do it. Abdullah Yusuf Ali says, all that is on earth will perish. Where the ayah says, Kullu man alayha fan, just say alayha, on it. And we got what? 7 heavens, right? So everything in the 7 heavens has some perishing qualities about it. And why he limited it to the earth, I don't know. Then the next ayah, وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ, but will remain and abide forever is the face of thy Lord, full of majesty, bounty, and honor. So does Allah have a physical face like us? Certainly not. So this face should be viewed as being the direction and the will of God is that which will remain forever. But we know also that Allah tells us that that soul, that nafs, if it's in the right state upon our demise from this physical earth, it too will remain forever. Khalidina fiha, in the Jannah. So you might say, well, if this soul is going to remain forever, is it a physical thing? Is it disconnected now from that body that went into the earth? Yes. Yes. The Christians believe, I don't know if you all know this, that they said they got what they call the rapture. And they sing, they got a song they sing. I've been to church before, you know. They say, are you ready for the rapture, you know? And the rapture is that they're going to pop up out of those graves. You hear me? Pop up out of those graves and meet Jesus in the sky. That's what they call the rapture, you know? Well, that's what they believe. I just put it like that. And so you mean to tell me that somehow that body, you see skeletons and all of that, some skin going to be put on those bodies again, and you have the ability to be a person that can fly now. You can fly like a bird and meet Jesus up in the sky, you know. I'm not, trying to poke fun. I'm just stating reality. And if some Christians are listening, which I hope they are, because we're on Facebook, and I got a lot of my family members that's on Facebook, and perhaps they are listening, you know. Praise be to Allah. So, I'm talking about this because April 9th is what they call nowadays Resurrection Sunday. You know what they call it that? They used to call it Easter Sunday. Now they say, oh, Resurrection Sunday. Do you know why they did that? I suspect they changed it because a lot of people are becoming more and more educated about the paganism that has crept into Christianity. They have a god called Ashtart, and you can see that similar to Easter, right? Ashtart is this god, and this god is the god of fertility, you know. And so when you look at how they celebrate Easter, what do you have involved with Easter? You got the rabbit. They get lots of babies. You can make money. You can make a living off of selling rabbits. Whenever they have a litter, they say it's about 8 babies or something, and they can give babies 4 or 5 times a year, I think, something like that. I read it up on it in the past. And then you got a chicken involved with it too, with the egg, right? Chicken lay egg every day. You see, so they're tying all this fertility idea in there, and we know too that the celebration occurs in the spring when things come back to life again, and you get the green leaves on the trees again, and all of this, you know. So they said, no, we're going to call it Resurrection Sunday and just focus on our belief that Jesus is coming up out of having been dead for 3 days, right? So we should be thankful to Allah that we don't believe that once a man goes down into the ground, he just comes back to life and be walking around with a body that was old and decayed, and kidneys, you know, fell out, and didn't function, all of that, and now you're going to get up and walk around again, you know. So we are blessed to not have that idea. And then so many times in the Quran, he focuses on, that is Allah, the idea that some people don't believe that it's a life after death, right? Some people cremate themselves thinking they're going to escape, you know. And I did a post on Facebook one time, and I said, you can be cremated or blown into smithereens, but that record and that day of judgment, everything that you touched and everything you did is in a Kitabun Mubin, a clear book, a clear record, you know. So one of the brothers say, what you talking about cremation? Muslims don't believe in cremation. I never said that Muslims believe in cremation. I just simply say that people do cremate themselves. My nature tells me that's repulsive to want to, you know, burn this body, and even having open caskets and stuff. I don't want to see my loved ones when they dead. I don't remember them alive. But you have in the Christian world, a Christian, you know, I just come from a funeral last week. They be taking pictures of the man, the woman, or whoever in the grave and stuff, and saving it. No, I don't want to remember my mother dead. You know, I can see her now when I saw her dead at the hospital, you know. So I don't want to come to the funeral and see her again like that. I don't remember her alive, wouldn't you? You know. So the Muslims have what? Closed casket. Praise be to Allah. But then again, because if we have Christian relatives, a lot of times we will compromise and open it up, right? I don't think it's no major sin to do it, but just from the psychological standpoint, it would be better. So since I'm on the subject, I'll mention this too. One of my nephews, he passed away, and he was 44 years old. His son's 4 years old. And the preacher got up and was telling the people more than once, he's not dead, he's just asleep. So the little 4-year-old said, well, if daddy just sleep, he got to wake up sometime. I've seen him wake up, you know, day after day after day at home, you see. So I thought it was very damaging for the preacher to say that. He ain't dead, he just sleep. So much for that. So here in the Surah Al-Qiyamah, praise be to Allah, Allah asked the question, does human beings think that we cannot assemble his bones? Now, we already said when the bones go down there, there's no need to assemble them or anything because God got the record already, right? So obviously this is a metaphor. Bones mean anything that you left that has some structure to it. Anything that you did in this world, Allah is assembling it, putting it in the Kitab al-Mubin. And then in the next ayah, he says, "Bal, to the contrary, we are able to put together in perfect order the very tips of his fingertips." The very tips of his fingers, pardon me. And the word for fingers is bananun. Sound like banana, don't it? When you have a banana, it look like fingers, don't they? So perhaps they took that word from Arabic. Only Allah knows. But Allah is telling us that He has the power to reproduce our very fingertips in the sense that we know if I put my fingertips on here and commit a murder with a gun, they know that's Siddeeq's fingertips, you know. So Allah is giving you and I believe, a point that everybody has distinct fingertips. They didn't know that way back then, you know. But we know it now, right? Praise be to Allah. So Allah didn't say He was going to produce these fingertips. He just said He has the power to do it. So this is indicating, I believe, on Muslims, that God is saying that I have the ability to show you everything that you touched as far as touching your soul to the good and touching your soul to the bad. So God is just letting us know that everything that you or I did is in a clear record. That's the way I would, postulate that Allah is telling us that. But He already told us that the fingers, the hands, the chest, the body, the head, and all of that is down there in the earth. And we got the other part, which is your nafs and your record. Praise be to Allah. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. Our Lord, cause not our hearts to swerve and deviate after You guided us aright, but bestow upon us mercy from Your presence, for surely You are the grandest of the givers. Ameen. اللهم نستعينك ونستغفرك ونؤمن بك ونتوكل عليك ونثني عليك الخير. Oh Allah, we ask for Your help. We ask for Your forgiveness. We believe in You. We trust in You. And we extol and exalt You in the best manner. We are thankful to You, Allah, and we are not of the ungrateful. Praise be to Allah. I call your attention now to the Surah Yunus, Surah 10, where Allah reveals, O ye humanity, if you are in doubt as to my religion, behold, I worship not what you worship other than Allah, but I worship Allah who will take your souls at death. The word that's used is to complete your souls at death. So here it is, Muhammad is telling these people that I worship the one that knows what's going to happen to you and I when we die. Means to complete. So Allah is the knower of what's going to happen to all of us when we go. I am commanded to be in the ranks of the righteous. So I bring to your attention that there are many words in the Quran, at least 3 that I know of, that we translate as doubt. And so if Allah uses one word that means doubt and He uses another one in a different ayah, it must be a reason. So that's our study, that we should deal with that. And so shak, to me, from studying it, means intellectual doubt. If you got any intellectual doubt about what I worship, Muhammad was telling them, I worship the one that will complete your souls at death. He uses the word raib, and we translate it as doubt, right? ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This is the book wherein there's absolutely no doubt. Tells us that before you even get a chance, before we even get a chance to use our intellect to doubt it, right? Right there in the Al-Baqarah, he tells us that, right? So this is more of a spiritual doubt, where you just can't put your finger on it, but you're still hesitant to want to believe it. You know, that's that rabe that Allah is telling us about there. And they got rabies, right? You get bit by a dog, it's some question as to whether or not you got the rabies or not. So anytime you get bit by a dog, they're gonna take you somewhere to check it out and give you a shot as a precautionary measure or whatever. So perhaps they took the word rabe, which means doubt or question, from the Arabic language. Only Allah knows, but we do know that Arabian is believed to be a language that came before the bastard language English. So why do we call it a bastard language? Most of you know why. You go into a dictionary, you got FR. This is oriented from French, but we let it into English. You see GR, this is German, but we let it into English, you know. A bastard, a language that just stole from different languages, right? But Arabic, they don't do that. They have honor in the Arabic language, and most of us know that. If they allow a word to come in, they put certain markers on it. They put a fatha and a dhamma on it. Like, oh, this is not one of our words, but we're going to let it in, right? Like Ibrahim, that's not an Arabic word, but they got to let Ibrahim in, right? But we know that it does not follow one of the word patterns of the Arabic language, you see. So that's honor in and of itself of the Arabic language. And the Arabic word itself means to be, Arabian means to be pure and undefiled, without any admixture. It also means a vehicle to take you from one place to the other. Communication. This language is rich, where it gives you an ability to understand in a logical fashion. Praise be to Allah. So if you look up the word Arabah in the dictionary, you'll say that it means a carriage or a vehicle. You see? And again, it deals with communication. Carrying a message to your mind so you can understand. And Allah asks you the question, or tell us, that we have certainly made it easy for all of you all to understand. So as any of you who will take it to heart and apply it in your life. Praise be to Allah. So, Ramadan is coming. Some say the 22nd, some say the 23rd, right? But we know that the black moon, I believe, is on Tuesday. And regrettably, I didn't have a chance to get the actual time. But when we say black moon, we mean that you can't see any part of the moon when you look into the sky, but it's there. You can't see it because the sun is not shining on that side, right? But after a time, you begin to see that first sliver of light, right? Which is marking the beginning of Ramadan. It is a symbol for the dawn of enlightenment, coming from darkness and ignorance to enlightenment. And this is what the Quran did. Gave us enlightenment. So we didn't have to be thinking that maybe the sun is the God, or maybe fire is the God, and these kinds of ideas, right? And so I called the University of Toledo many years ago, and regrettably, I don't remember exactly what the astronomer told me, but he did say that we got moon charts right here in the university. We got them. And he said that within 10 to 14 hours, or 12 to 14 hours, I can't remember which, that first sliver of light is there. Where you are on the earth will not allow you to see it or allow you to see it, it is there. All right? They have a hadith, as you know, which says, Basarahu, fast when you see it. Basarahu, I think is the term that's used, but I do know that Basara is used in that hadith. So Basara means to see something with the mind, and also it means to sometimes see something with the physical eye. Which is more reliable? Your mind's eye or your physical eye? Somebody can stand right in front of you and do a 3-card Molly on you and tell you to find out where the ace is that you saw, right in your hand, and you pick over there. No, it's in the middle. Because your eye is getting deceived by, what happened, right? Right? And so Allah says in the Quran, Ash-shamsu wal-qamaru bi-husban, right? The sun and the moon are with arithmetic, a calculation. So you don't have no problem. Most of us don't have no problem saying, what time is Salatul Isha? Well, let's go to the sun chart. And it tells you it's going to be at 7:45 or whatever, We got the sun charts to make our prayers. So when are the Muslims going to evolve to the point where we're going to have our moon charts too? So it won't be a whole lot of argumentation about when the Ramadan starts. But then you ask the question, should you or I accept a local sighting or a universal sighting, right? My logic tells me that the universal sighting is sufficient. Why? Because enlightenment and knowledge travels at the click of a button. I can hit this computer on and get some new knowledge instantly. Enlightenment. It passes. You can go to the news and find out what's happening in Indonesia, all over the world. Find out what scientific discoveries have just come about, right? So knowledge is universal and it moves quick today. Praise be to Allah. So again, Ash-shamsu, which means the sun, wal-qamaru, and the moon, are with husban. And if you look up the dictionary, hisab means arithmetic. Abdullah Yusuf says the sun and the moon follow perfect courses, exactly computed. That's what he said. So we know as Homo sapiens, we know how fast the moon is going, how fast the sun is going, how fast the earth is going. And Allah, praise be to Allah, has got it on a fixed schedule. We thank Allah for that. But people are going to, get up on rooftops and send jets up in the sky to see if they, see the sliver of light. They're going to do that, So I haven't really looked at the time in relationship to if 14 hours pass before Fajr or after the black moon. But as soon as I do, I'll know what day I'm going to fast. I won't have any, dispute about it. So during the time of the brother Omar Khattab, who was the Imam of the Masjid in Toledo there, Perrysburg there, he said, we already know when we're going to start Ramadan, because he followed the scientific calculation, right? But things have changed over there now. They may be a little bit different now, you see. But people argue about it all of the time. And some people like to have a bunch of people calling them, when is Ramadan? Sheikh so-and-so? Or they have councils and stuff, right? But even these councils, they be disputing. They dispute about when Ramadan is going to start, But it's not really the point of fasting on the same day. The real point is, are we going to be intent on completing the fast in a very, very pious way so that Allah will be pleased with us. But it does make us look bad if we don't try to become more aware of the great intellect that Allah has blessed us with to be able to calculate stuff before it even goes down. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. So I hope I said something of value and of worth to you today, and I would imagine that I will not see you before Ramadan commences, and I say to you, Ramadan Mubarak, alhamdulillah. And most of you know, and I've said it more than once, that now I think the African Americans started this. I don't know for sure, but now they say Jumu'ah Mubarak when Jumu'ah comes, right? So I keep telling them on the Facebook, you can't say Jumu'ah Mubarak, you got to say Jumu'ah Mubarakah. So every Friday I put it up there, and some people respond, they still say Jumu'ah Mubarak, because they don't get the message. So I even write it down and tell them why If you want to use Jumu'ah, it's a feminine word, then you got to use a feminine adjective with it. Jumu'ah Mubarakah. So on the word Jumu'ah, you got a tar mabuta. He knows a feminine T on Jumu'ah. So that H is representing the tar mabuta. So I got to put on the word Mubarak the tar mabuta too. I got to put it there. So again, if you want to say Jumu'ah Mubarak, that's incorrect. It's Jumu'ah Mubarakah. And only about 4 or 5 people responded to it on Facebook, as far as I know. Why you keep talking about Facebook? Well, it's a great medium to do da'wah. A lot of people put pictures on there and all that kind of stuff, but I try to teach the deen on Facebook. So I would encourage you too, if you don't have a Facebook account, get it and do da'wah. Put verses of the Quran on there. Give people insight and talk about what you're doing, making money and things like this. Use it as a tool for advancement, not a tool just to be seen. Look at my pretty suit today. I'm sharp, ain't I, y'all? Stuff like that, So I hope I said something of value. And I have here that they want to conduct a wedding after Jumu'ah, and I have to personally respectfully decline. And my policy is that I like to have the paperwork from the government before I do one, but some people do it, but I don't, because I don't want any problems with the male or the female if it doesn't work. And I know back in Detroit, a lot of times people get married 1 week and 3 weeks later they divorced. That happens, especially in this community that I know of in Detroit area, right? But perhaps one of you would want to perform it for the brother. I'm not against it being performed. Rabbi habi hikma wa hikmi bisalihin waj'al li lisana sidqin fi al-akhirin waj'al li min waratati jannatin na'im واغفر لي أبي إنه كان من الضالين ولا تخزني يوم يبعثون. Our Lord, bestow upon us wisdom, unite us with the righteous, grant us honorable mention on the tongue of truth among the latest of the generations. Make us inheritors of the garden of bliss and joy, and forgive our forefathers for many of them are astray, and do not let us be in humiliation on the day that we are raised for the judgment. Ameen. You come.
Come on, to count. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Allahu Akbar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتوصوا بالحق وتوصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر وسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
ربنا آمنا فاكتبنا مع الشاهدين. Our Lord, we have faith, we have trust, so ordain us among the witnesses in this life and the next. Amen.
Real quick, inshallah, our ministry, Tabiat Jihad Ministries, we have certain bills or accounts payables that we pay regularly in order to keep the ministry going, in order to continue to reach out to people and provide the programs that we do. So inshallah, if you can, we ask our most immediate need, inshallah, is for our domain name to our website, which we use to reach out to other ministries, other masjids, and people to donate. That's $225, and that's our most immediate need that we have. If you can. Assalamu alaikum. We also have, and that's to have our domain name for 5 years so that we can get our website back up and running as quickly as possible and keep it going. We also have Canva, which is what we use to do the posters and flyers that you see around the masjid. That's $120 a year. Our not-for-profit filing with the government is $90. We also are trying to get on this app called Masjid app, which is $100 a month or $1,200 for the year. Our P.O. box is $75. I believe it's every 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. Microsoft Word is $125 and Adobe is $120. All of these, with the exception of the domain name, is a yearly. This is our yearly charge. So if you can, if anybody's able to and can sponsor these accounts payables, you can speak with Abdullah. You can donate through check, money order. We have a POS system and a box by the door. That money also goes towards other programs that we have, like our food pantry, our children's programs, housing for Muslims and people coming out of the prison system. So if you can, we have ways for you to donate. We're also looking for someone who knows how to write grants. If you know how to write grants, the ministry, Third Ministries, is wanting to hire you. So if you can, speak with Abdullah, he's by the door. If you know how to write grants, so that we can grow this ministry some more and help as many people as we can, inshallah, especially with Ramadan coming. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. I want to apologize for the smell in here today. I neglected to check the traps before I left, and so that smell is a sewer gas smell. And if the traps are dry, that means the water that keeps the gas from backing up into the building didn't have any water in them, and that's my fault. So I apologize for that. I had the doors open before everybody came, but we wanted to have some heat in here as well. So forgive me for that. Number two, we're introducing a new product here at the masjid. We're going to give Procter & Gamble all the competition they can withstand with a detergent line, a washing powder and dryer line of products. This is called True. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. This is called True, and its formulation is less environmentally hazardous as our Procter & Gamble's products are. It's True. This is $10, and this is competition for Tide and Gain, 4 times as more concentrated, they recommend. So again, Ramadan is coming, the blessed month. Remember, we are in this just like everybody else. And we're just being run over, and we're running over our own selves trying to get to everybody else. It's time for that to change. Assalamu alaikum.